Welcome to Portage La Prairie, Manitoba for Shaw TV's live coverage of the 2017 Canad Women's Classic. This event is part of a World Curling Tour proudly sponsored by Canad. I'm your host, Blair Malstravich, and we're moments away from the matchup between Team Middaugh and Team Jones. You can follow on the conversation on social media, Shaw TV Winnipeg, hashtag Curling on Shaw. Right now, let's head up to the booth with Resby Coots and Maureen Bonner.
Thanks, Blair. We do have a B-side qualifier game from the Canadians Women's Classic in Portage La Prairie, and a game that I'm going to say, Maureen Bonner, has been played many times in the past. Sherry Middaugh, Jennifer Jones.
These two teams have matched up against each other several times, I'm sure, in the past across Canada. I think this is likely one of those matchups that could be a bit of a sneak peek to some of the pre-trial games that we're going to start seeing, so I'm looking forward to this matchup.
It's a tremendous international field here in Portage.
Yes, Anna Hasselberg has gone through undefeated through the A side. We've got the Roth team, Christensen team from the U.S. We've got several teams here from Korea and Japan, so it's in Sweden. So it's a marvelous field.
And Switzerland as well. It is the Canadians Classic, the Women's Classic for 2017 in Portage La Prairie. We'll be right back. Well, here we are, Maureen Bonner, Resby Coots, upper club level at the Portage Curling Club, Canadians Portage La Prairie, and the end of Sheet 5 for the first of 3 games that will bring you from the Canadians 2017 Women's Classic. Today we have right now the Sherry Middaugh, Jennifer Jones team that we set up a moment ago. We'll bring you a C. This is a B qualifier. We'll bring you a C qualifier on the 8 o'clock draw, and of course we'll be back tomorrow evening, Monday evening at 6 o'clock for the final of the 2017 Classic. There's also 3 other games on the ice out here in addition to the game we're watching, Maureen.
Yeah, we've got some great matchups. We've got Carrie Anderson playing Roth, Barber is playing Wang, and Tirizoni is playing Muirhead. So there's some great games down here. If people are at home and want to get out for the night, they should come on down and watch some great curling or stick with us here.
Let's talk about the teams on the ice, the Middaugh team, Maureen.
Well, Sherry is no stranger to the ice. She has been playing with this team for several years. The composition of this team has been together, I believe, for at least 5 years, I'm going to guess, maybe a little longer. Sherry obviously has been skipping for a long time and has met up with the Jones team on several occasions. Sherry has been at many Canadian championships and has continued to play on the World Curling Tour and has racked up a number of points too. I think she is eligible and going to be at the Roar of the Rings, and so this should be a good matchup. And
the Jennifer Jones team is, of course, the team that people have become very familiar with, the 2014 Olympic gold medal team. Jennifer Jones is the skip. Caitlin Laws is her third. Jill Officer, the longtime teammate of Jennifer Jones, plays second, and Don McEwen is the lead. As I say, a gold medal team from the Olympics and an Olympic hopeful again this year. So really a wonderful matchup for our first of 3 here from the Canadians Women's Classic. The draws to the button will take place in just a moment. The Middaugh team, in fact, had to throw 2 when the skip throws well, it doesn't have to be the skip, but traditionally it is. And Sherry Middaugh did throw the first draw to the button. She threw a perfect draw, covered the pinhole. So then Lee Armstrong threw the second draw for the Middaugh team, and she just bit the back of the button. So in order to win the hammer, Jennifer Jones and her team are going to have to make 2 draws better than those 2, and the first one has to cover the pinhole, then a second one would have to be thrown. This rock now coming down the ice is Jennifer's last practice draw, and so she will be throwing her draw to the button to determine hammer in just a moment. So we'll watch that draw to the button for Hammer, and let's go down to Blair again.
Well, the action is just about underway for the 2017 Canad Women's Classic. You can follow along the game on social media. On Facebook and YouTube, we have live streaming. Also, you can follow along on Twitter and Instagram, Shaw TV Winnipeg, hashtag curling on Shaw. More action coming your way.
If you got content, we got a place for it. Hit up Create TV at shaw.ca.
Catch the action on Shaw TV for both the men's and women's finals in the 10th annual DeKalb Superspiel from the Morris Curling Club. This important World Curling Tour event will feature excellent competition with teams from across Canada and around the world. The DeKalb Superspiel Finals, Monday, November 20th at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., exclusively on Shaw TV. We're back at the Portage Curling Club for the beginning of the game between Jennifer Jones and her Winnipeg team and the Sherry Middaugh team from Ontario. The traditional start of game handshakes. Jennifer Jones did not accomplish what she had to do to win the last rock advantage. That goes to Sherry Middaugh. Jones's draw to the button had to cover the pinhole, and then they had to win on a second rock. The Jones draw was pretty darn good, but not good enough, Maureen.
Yes, it was a great draw. Both the Middaugh team and her her lead, Lee Armstrong, throwing the second rock just as a backup. But boy, oh boy, we're in for a match today.
This, as I said in our opening remarks, I can't even begin to guess how many times these two teams have played each other in games that matter, and in the league that these folks play in, every game matters, don't they?
For sure. They're sharpening, honing their skills, leading into the Roar of the Rings, and every time they go out, they want to improve on it. And Sherry is just been on the curling scene for so many years. This team has been together for a long time, so is the Jones team. So this is a really interesting matchup, lead through to skip. This is going to be shot for shot.
What do you think happens in the first end? What Jones has to go first, so what does this first end look like in your mind?
Well, I think she'll just play it into the house and see, kind of put it out there and see if Sherry bites and maybe puts up a corner guard, just to see where Sherry will play this.
So Don McEwen throws the opening rock of our 5 o'clock draw, a B-side qualifier game in the Canad Women's Classic.
Make sure you're tight, but line's okay. Not in, and tight. Make sure you're which side? Make sure you're tight. Really over curl. Okay, good. Other girl, this way. Canad, go here. Down.
Well, they did opposite of what I had just said. Jones called for it up front, tight to the house, not in, and now Sherry has elected not to put up a corner guard, but to go actually in the house.
Complete reversal of the roles the way you thought it might happen.
Totally, yeah.
and that tells you this is going to be an interesting game, folks.
I'm going for T. Yeah, it's short. Yeah.
Outturn guard attempt, or a draw attempt from the center line to the outside of the rings. Short of the rings. Corner guard. Jones will ask Dawn McEwen to play her second shot behind, into the 4-foot behind that center guard that she set up with her opening rock.
The ice really curls here. Hog line in, Resby. You have to wait on it though, and the weight has to just be perfect so that you can sweep it around and tuck it around, but it will bury very nicely around guards tight to the house.
As we've just seen, another 2 feet of weight on that rock, and it would have been fully buried just into the top of the 4-foot.
So they're just watching this come down here, waiting for it again. Like I said, at the hog line, it starts to bend in and it starts to lose its weight, so they're trying desperately to pull it around that front guard.
Second shot for Lee Armstrong.
Out of the way. It's good. Just through. Close. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. 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 Hard. Yeah, roll it, Murph. Hard, Murphy. Right up. Right over.
Nice little bump and roll. Doesn't quite bury behind that Middaugh corner guard.
If they could have got on that a little sooner, they might have been able to get their rock behind their corner guard. But they did push the Jennifer Jones rock out into the back 8-foot open.
Outturn hit for Jill Officer. A person that Jennifer Jones has relied on for a very long time in this position, Maureen.
For sure. She's a solid second player and can adjust her weight when she needs to. And nice weapon to have when it comes to clearing the front off. Jill can throw the up weight and very accurate.
Makes the contact, over curls a little bit and slides open in the edge of the 12-foot circle.
Well, Sherry electing to do an angle run back on that blue stone of Jones's in the 8-foot. That way, too, an option to clear off the front.
Lee Merklinger throws second stones for the Middaugh team. Great double, peel double.
So she wanted the angle into that one in the house, and it starts to take off here, and they sweep it hog line in, just enough angle, hits it thin enough, and it makes the double, makes it go away. That was a big shot, Resby. If they don't make that, they leave 2 blue stones counting, and you know, this has really changed this end a little bit for Sherry. She doesn't have any junk out front, so that's the way she would like it. She's got her corner guard set up, so now Jennifer is going to be putting the front guard back on and pushing it.
Those 2 shots, the peel on the center guard and then the replacement of the guard, Maureen, are an indication of a decades-old philosophy in the sport. It's much more sophisticated now in this modern era of coaching techniques and so on. But the old timers would have always said, "You got last rock, play the outside. If you don't have, play the center." And really, that's a standard philosophy in there.
For sure. Well, and just about, I'd say maybe 5 to 10 years earlier, or just past 10 years, a lot of women's teams would have hit that rock in the 8-foot to get the roll behind, but you know, a little more strategy behind it. We don't want to roll behind the tee. We don't want to give, you know, the opposition a chance to draw to it and close out the end. So there's a lot of little tweaking and changes. You know, women necessarily didn't play that angle back. So you see a lot more of that in today's women's teams playing those angle shots.
Third stone for Jennifer Jones is Caitlin Law's very successful Manitoba junior career before joining the Laws team, or joining the Jones team that a run to the Olympic gold. And Caitlin's first rock is replacement of the center guard.
Good sweeping.
Now, third for Middaugh, Joanne Rizzo, and she'll attempt the same shot going the other way. The out turn hit, attempt to make the double off center, take out the rock in the 12-foot circle.
Sherry yelled down she just needs half a rock here. She's a little.
Good one.
And she gets exactly half.
Pair of excellent shots to change this end completely.
So Joanne throws the out turn down here, firm weight, just needs half a rock to double the side 12-foot rock out of the house and clear both blues out. Excellent shot. Now there's a corner guard left up.
So the Jones team will use that guard out turn draw for Caitlin Laws. At this stage, Maureen, is the Jones team thinking of steal as much as they're thinking about force?
I think looking at a force perhaps here. They want to close off this corner. They don't want it very deep here. They want to leave it high.
Comes to rest, biting the 8-foot. You can just see a little bit of the outside of that rock.
Probably get to there with a 10. Yeah, I like it. Okay. You just start off with a bit more here.
But they can see enough of it that Joanne Rizzo, with her second stone of the end, will make the attempt.
I'm a little surprised they didn't consider the draw around here, but they seem to think that they can see enough of this rock to get around and stick.
Great shot.
Really great shot. That just goes to show how much the ice is pulling in there. You throw that just nice, easy weight. Look at this shot by Joanne Rizzo. She just threw really nice tap back weight. And it finished all the way in from the hog line and tucked nicely behind the guard.
Did have even a little inward momentum on the roll, so there's just even slightly less than she could see for Jennifer Jones, who will attempt to follow and tap that rock out. Jennifer Jones's first game of this game is the first shot of this game is an in-turn tap.
Again, Resby, this spot right here is very weight sensitive.
A little more weight than Rizzo had. She hits and rolls out.
Well, this gives an opportunity for Middaugh now to draw around that corner.
Yeah, okay. And it's got to be. That's what I got on Caitlin. 7 on that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it poked out, right? They had there?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we can just be a 4-5.
So what do you want to throw?
A 4-5 and probably a 90.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe even a bit more, Joe.
No crew.
No. Okay, so just a 4-5. Okay. Or else we're just going to poke out the other side.
So then odd?
Still thinking like 95.
Okay.
Caitlin's really came down in the house, so.
Yeah. Okay.
9-5.
Good communication from Sherry to her team, letting them know what she's going to throw and what they can expect and where they want the rock to be in the house.
A little tight. 4.
Mine's great.
I thought I was a little tight.
Right here, bite the 8.
I thought I was tight.
5 and clean.
Yeah, we're going to pop out the other side. Yeah.
Only for weight. Only for weight. Gonna poke out. Gotta be here.
Sweepers bring that rock into the top of the rings. You heard Sherry Middaugh say we're going to be open out the other side, and in fact they are not fully open, but certainly more open than the previous rock, and Jennifer will again follow with the hit and remove that rock from play with the possibility of just sticking for a little biter, but her primary objective now is to get rid of that stone.
And, you know, Sherry was really trying to communicate with her team there that it was going to over curl. She could see that it was going to come out the other side, and trying to keep it as short as they could to try and hold it behind that corner guard. And it just finishes all the way. Jennifer rolls out, so that's going to give Sherry Middaugh an opportunity to throw this one through to blank.
Pardon me? No, she threw it straight. Okay. Yeah, she had less weight. Yeah.
It doesn't mean if I know that
So we blank the opening end. Jennifer Jones playing Sherry Middaugh. Middaugh winning the hammer, and a relatively routine opening end as Middaugh blanks. The other three games on the ice are, two of them are just now finished team practices and getting underway. The game between Switzerland's Slovenia Ternzoni and Eve Muirhead from Scotland as opening rocks have been thrown. And we'll be back to look at all of that and our game between Jennifer Jones and Sherry Middaugh. In the meantime, Blair Malistravich has a chat with Sherry Middaugh.
I'm Blair Malistravich, and I'm joined by Sherry Middaugh. Sherry, you guys are no stranger to this matchup. What are you concentrating on as you go into this game?
Well, continue the way that we have been playing. We've been playing really strong. We've had one loss so far, but all our games have been really good. And, you know, we're loving the ice. There's lots of curl, and the speed is great. And we know it's going to be a great matchup against Jen.
Now, how do you feel like your team's communication has been going so far?
It's been fantastic. You know, we're not on time clocks for this event, so we've been taking that extra bit of time and just talking about past times, what the Rocks have been doing. So that communication has been great this week, and we're going to continue with that.
Great. Thank you so much, and best of luck. Still more curling action coming your way from the 2017 Canad Inns Women's Classic.
The opening rocks of the end, the second end of this B-side qualifier game in the Canad Inns Women's Classic. The opening rocks have been thrown. Contrary to the first end, Jennifer Jones threw her first rock into the 4-foot circle, and Sherry called for the corner guard. It curled a little more than she wanted to, but a little change in strategy for Jennifer Maureen.
Yeah, a little bit. Just maybe trying a little bit, see what the ice is running here. Having Dawn throw it into the 4-foot. Change it up a little bit.
Dawn McEwen's second shot called to be a center guard. Appears to be a little overweight as it comes to the Canad Inns logo on that ice. And slides into the 12-foot circle.
Well, Sherry won't take any time here. She'll hit and roll behind her corner guard. Try and set up her for her deuce.
That early call from the skip usually means you're a little bit on the inside of the broom.
Okay.
Well, didn't get the roll she wanted, but she did get rid of one of the blue stones, Jones stones.
Jill Officer in the hack to throw an in-turn hit, and she'll attempt to get that roll across behind the corner guard.
Yep. Hard. 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 Hard.
Well, Jill won't be happy with that. The straight jam, it just over curling there.
Just in front of the tee. Okay. Come around. 95. Yeah.
Threw it pretty good.
To the broom. Curls
Just nice, quiet takeout weight, and just jammed the yellow onto her blue stone in the forefoot and left Sherry Middaugh sitting one in the forefoot.
Lots of line. 6. Just for weight. Line's good.
Out-turn draw from Lee Merklinger.
6.
Well, this gives a great opportunity for Sherry Middaugh to use her corner guard that she put up.
Just even, guys. Just even. Looks like it's here. Mine's great. No, no, no. Just even. Just even.
Just haven't been out here. I just didn't
Yep,
want to lose it.
yep. Nice.
Those two hits that overcurled up the center line, Maureen, is that an indication perhaps that that there's just a little more curl there than both skips anticipated?
Well, I think it's two things. It's either curling a little bit or they're throwing a little bit down weight, down takeout weight. So they might have to adjust either the broom, and I'm sure they'll talk about that at the end of this closer to this end or mid end. Just discuss, make sure our weight's the same, and I'll give you a little bit more ice. Likely they're talking about like it's just a little bit surprising. I think that they both overcurled those takeouts.
Out-turn hit by Jill Officer past that corner guard. Hits, rolls back 12 foot. And Middaugh will ask Lee Merklinger to replace that shot, but make it just a little bit better.
Well, they are taking a lot of ice for the curl, and the sheet is at least 5 feet. It's curling, so there is lots of curl, and I think Sherry alluded to that. She quite likes that curl in the ice.
Even. Just Army. Just Army.
Stay with it, Army.
Well, looks like it's sliding.
Easy.
Easy, Army. Just even.
Good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Very nice.
Virtually the same shot, directly across from the shot stone in the 4-foot circle, and now Jones looks at playing that shot stone, but one more time they'll take the rock off the side from behind the corner guard, roll back into the 4-foot. Could actually roll for shot stone behind the yellow rock.
Yeah, for sure could.
Caitlin Laws.
Yep.
94, 96.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
That was turn hit. She's going to be very close to the guard. Robinson rolls harmlessly through the rings.
She was down 11-2.
That was about just
Like that.
almost bumper weight, not even bumper weight, more like half. So I think that's something that they're going to have to look at, maybe making sure it's a little bit more weight on their back takeout shots. Just clips the front guard and rolls away.
Line's good.
Easy.
Whoa.
Easy.
Whoa, whoa,
Now the call is to put up another guard on the rock in the outside edge of the 8-foot circle.
Make it. No, no. Right to it. Yes. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Okay. Half rock. It's
Comes
there.
nearly to it. It would suggest,
It's a
Maureen,
big
that
half.
potential.
I'd rather do this. You need peel.
I give you?
But there is a triple here, I believe, Maureen. Which, as she says, if you hit a little too much of it, will hit and roll on top of the one in the 4-foot circle.
Yeah, double for sure. Triple if she can get it spinning across the top of that 8-foot Yellowstone. Great shot by
Great
Caitlin.
shot, triple kill. Come back to your comments in the ear.
You see the replay on this, Resby. Caitlin comes out and really kicks out hard. She's got a solid takeout weight here and just clips this high yellow and thin enough, and it makes everything go out.
Going back to your comments in the earlier end, Maureen, again, there's a shot that a decade ago you wouldn't have seen called all that often in the women's competition.
No, we've, you know, it's great coaching and great techniques and mechanics. We've really figured out how to build that momentum out of the hack, and you know, a lot of teams are working hard and you know, working out and strengthening. So that they can do those and be very, very accurate with the throws. So, yeah, nothing's out of range anymore.
So Joanne Rizzo makes the hit, sticks open, and for Jennifer Jones, her first shot of the second end will be an in-turn hit. Wide open.
Okay. Gets quicker and quicker, right? Yeah. I thought you did, and then I didn't get it timed, so I wasn't sure.
Are we trying to go behind their blue?
I think so. And I think that
Are you trying to just nose it or roll?
No, roll your. So 9.5. I'm not going to be late. Yeah. I just can't hit it high, so.
You heard Jennifer, she's going to throw 9.5, which is a pretty nice firm takeout weight. And this is that down the line shot that we saw earlier that was curling.
9! Close, yep. Whoa. Yes, yes! Hard! Hard! Go big, Jill!
She makes that hit and roll, and again, Maureen, we see that rock coming up the center line, just over curling a little bit compared to what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to have to watch that spot. I think it's just curling way more than they're anticipating. I think you see once it catches the line, it just starts to go, and they're sweeping it, hold it there, and it ends up on the inside of that yellow stone, rolls to the 12-foot.
So Sherry Middaugh and Joanne Rizzo figuring out the ice for a draw to from the edge of the 8-foot across pretty much to the other side of the 8-foot circle.
Yeah,
Middaugh's first stone of this end.
This is going to draw Resby. I know that Dawn's first stone of the end, Jennifer Jones was taking middle of the 12-foot and it over curled past the button. So this will move across the sheet.
Just prepare, because once it starts to curl, it'll die a bit. Okay. Yeah, we like as much separation as possible, so this needs to be biting 8-foot. T or better. You gotta go.
No. Okay,
go.
You can go. What? I said you can go.
Lot less ice.
Comes to rest again, wide open.
So Sherry's trying to get buried around that 12-foot blue stone of Jones, and it just doesn't move as much as she thinks it's going to here. Once it gets past the tee line, it just stayed where it was. It's back 4-foot.
Like a little bit more? No, I like that. Okay.
Final shot of the end for Jennifer Jones. Hit to lie 4.
Well, if Jennifer can hit and roll behind, Sherry will have to draw to the full 4-foot against 4.
Whoa, whoa! No.
crisper in that run we've watched throughout this end. She gets nose hit. Full 4 foot.
Good, Dan. 10, the same as yours, Joe? Yeah, I was pretty positive to the broom. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You were a 10. Okay. Saw it.
And Middaugh will follow.
Oh, for sure. 10, same as Joe's.
Final shot of the second end of B-side qualifier game between Jennifer Jones and Sherry Middaugh in the Canadians Women's Classic for 2017. Makes the hit, facing 4, rolls over, but stays in the 4-foot circle for a single point. Sherry Middaugh scores the opening point of the game. 1-0 Middaugh over Jones after 2 ends in the B-side qualifier game. Just a few minutes ago, Blair Malistravich had an opportunity to talk with Jennifer Jones.
I'm Blair Malistravich, and I'm joined here by Jennifer Jones. Jennifer, what are you guys thinking about as you head into this matchup?
We're pretty excited because the ice conditions have been really good out here in Portage, but it's going to be a great game. They're a great team. It always comes down to the wire, and hopefully we'll have the last rock.
Now, how do you feel like you guys have been performing so far?
Yeah, pretty well. We had a little bit of a rocky start, but I feel like we're getting better with each game, which is what you want, and we just got to turn it up a notch right now.
Now, what's it like to face off against a team that you've played before?
Well, I feel like we played everybody before. It's just it's a grind now. We curl so much, but Sherry's been around a long time, and they're a great team, and we know we're going to have some laughs out there, but also we'll have to play our very best.
Awesome. Still more curling action coming your way on the 2017 Canad Women's Classic.
Well, the third end of our Jones-Middaugh game is underway, but to bring you up to date on the other games on the ice, the matchup between Nina Roth of the United States and Carrie Anderson of Manitoba. Anderson scored a single point on the opening end of that game, so Anderson leads 1-0 over Roth. In the game on sheet 3, the Chinese team skipped by Bingyu Wang and Brett Barber. No score has been posted after the first end, so we're just not able to really tell you what happened there because we were busy watching our own game, Maureen. And again on sheet 4, the Swiss team Tirinzoni, Muirhead from Scotland, and Muirhead scored a pair on the opener to lead 2-0 after the first end. So we come back to our game between Jennifer Jones and Sherry Middaugh. A couple of guards in play, Maureen.
Yeah, Sherry put one out front, it overcurled, and Jennifer asked for the corner guard, and this is Lee Armstrong's last stone at lead, and she's going to put up another guard.
Line's good. Line's good.
With that first guard over curling like that, Maureen, it sets up well for the Jones team.
For sure. I don't think they wanted it to curl that much, but she might have just got a little bit inside of the target, and it finished really hard on her.
That Canadians logo on the ice is about 3.5 or so feet in front of the rings, and just kind of a perfect target for that center guard, isn't it, Maureen?
It sure is. It's perfect guard actually she put up there, and now Dawn McEwen will try and sneak around there.
Bottom, bite the 4 in order to bury it. Bite the 4. Bite the 4. Go. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Real good dog. Right to it.
She's said she had to bite the 4 in order to bury it, and it is full in the forefoot and just slightly over curled.
Well, that just goes to show you, Resby, how much this ice is curling. Once it gets by the guard, it just tucks in there, over curling, actually coming out, peeking out the other side.
This is Lee Merklinger.
Lines,
First of her stones on this second end.
close line, 6, close line, whoa, just wait. Make sure, lock it on, line's great. I think you gotta go. Hard, guys, hard, line's great, just wait. Lock it on, hard, hard, hard. Right up, all the way.
Also up stone just a little bit short.
Sherry Middaugh wanting to sit right on top of that Jennifer Jones blue stone, top of the 4. It's about a 1.5 foot separation between them.
Jill Officer's opening rock of this third end, and Maureen, the call is to set one in between the 2 yellow stones, but to over curl just that little bit to cover the outside of the blue one, but more importantly not to set up a 3 rock angle.
Yeah, I think angles everything here, and trying to set it up so that they might be able to run it back if they have to.
You gotta go behind it. Go. It really curled though.
Rubs and rolls.
Well, this gives an opportunity for Sherry Middaugh to hit and roll behind here. I think trying to get it by here, sweeping hard to get it by the yellow one so it doesn't touch, but it just finishes really hard and wicks off the yellow one and rolls out into the open on the forefoot.
Lee Merklinger, in turn hit, attempt to hit and roll. Cross behind the rocks in the forefoot.
Just got a little flip over towards the Jones blue stone. They're waiting on it here, just upweight. It runs a little bit straighter than you anticipate. Just flips over and nudges the blue stone on the forefoot.
The only other thing we could do is freeze there. It's pretty good. Their shot. Whatever you like. I'm okay with either one. You like this better?
Well, she's talking about 2 options here, Resby. She could come down and sit on top of the yellow and freeze into those rocks. I think she's elected with Jill's stone to hit and flop.
Yes! Hard! Hard! You still got it. Go! Hard! 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 Hard!
Well, that worked out really well. They a little bit tight, sweeping it all the way down and
again,
just get it by.
Perhaps just a little underthrown.
Yeah, they're sweeping it hard to get it by everything and to get it by the front guard, get it by the next one, and then just enough to hit the Yellowstone out and sit there. Bad part with that is that it now sets up a double for Sherry Middaugh to hit the blue ones and actually spin off and roll behind the corner guard if she has the weight to move it.
And it will be third Joanne Rizzo who attempts to make that shot. Two excellent shots, both very, very close to that center guard.
And Joanne threw a really good stone there. Skip asked her to make the double, and they're watching all the way, sweeping hard to get it by the front guard again and get enough of that stone for the double, and removes both Joan's stones. Her shooter did roll out. And Joanne Rizzo used to skip years ago as well, and neat to see the two skips have joined forces, and the last several years played together, Sherry and Joanne.
Caitlin Laws is asked to remove that center guard.
Okay, yep. Okay, good.
The double kill Marine dramatically changed this end, and now Jones has got to work at not allowing a steal.
Yeah, for sure. Sherry will replace the guard and keep forcing.
Line's good.
Pull back a little bit.
Halfway. Line's good.
Get ready, Merck.
No, it's gonna get there on its own. Line's good. Yep. Keep it going.
Gotta go.
The target once again is that Canadians logo, maybe a little bit deeper.
You got it all the way, Merck. Yep. Good. Very nice.
Great sweeping from the Lees of the Middaugh team. They're both Lee Armstrong and Lee Merklinger. Great shot by Joanne Rizzo. Put that right on the Canad in logo.
And Caitlin Laws with her second shot of this third end, again asked to remove the guard.
Resby, she almost clipped that back 8-foot stone of Middaugh's on clearing that front. Very close.
Okay, so I'm not sure what drove you there, but
As long as they don't jump it, right?
yeah.
And
They
again
told
with
me to throw a 15, so I
Okay.
her opening draw or shot of this third end, Sherry Middaugh will replace the guard.
Okay, where Joe's was perfect. Yeah. Because there's no draw around now. Okay.
Viewers will be noticing that the teams aren't rushing as much as they normally do. There's no time clocks here at the Classic, so they, like Sherry had alluded to, they can take a little more time, especially we're in week 11 of the tour. It gets you a chance to get your breath and maybe talk a little bit more about shots throughout the end and take your time instead of having to rush and watch the time clocks.
But at the same time, they're conscious of the fact that they're doing that. So that knowing that there's a time coming in the trials and other competitions where the clock is going to be there. This is just part of the training process.
Get ready,
For sure.
Guard attempt, Sherry Middaugh. You heard her say it before. Same shot as Joanne is perfect. And that was just dead center of that Maple Leaf Canadian logo.
Yep. Clean. Whoa. Whoa, that's good. Nice shot. Perfect.
A little deeper. Still a fine guard, but that little bit closer makes that run just a little bit easier, doesn't it?
For sure.
Not suggesting it's easy, but
It's easy for them. It's not easy for us.
2 feet, 3 feet closer just changes things a bit. But Jennifer has concluded that that's not what she's going to do.
Pardon me?
They thought it was a little higher.
I'm not sure. I didn't hear it. I thought I gave a huge flick on you, but you have to.
Yeah. Well, your flick is funny because you flick it, but then you do that. So we're set to the same.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer electing to draw around the high corner guard that belongs to Sherry Middaugh. It draws enough here, 5 feet. It should wrap around that and then some. Looking to bite the 4 foot here, Resby.
This is an indication of one of the things that is gained from the pre-game practice. They throw 8 rocks up, 8 rocks back, and the Jones team, in fact, played this side of the ice during their team practice session. So they just have that little more intimate knowledge of what's going on and this spot on the ice. But the attempt is to go outside in around the corner guard, and they will not make it. Guard will be cleared away, and they'll roll away.
Jennifer, a little surprised that it took off that quickly. Usually it hangs out a little bit.
Didn't really seem to have a chance right from release.
So really not a lot left.
No, so you were there.
And the roll has now probably taken away the opportunity to make that same shot again. Even if they learned from it, it's still, that roll is a 1.5 feet over. The guard is closer to the wall and tougher to go around it and still make the shot. So Middaugh will plug the hole and leave Jennifer a very difficult shot to save the end.
Sherry wants to be at least halfway, kind of taking that any run back on the right side away.
Okay. Yeah. It's a little less, right?
It is a little less.
Yeah.
Not a lot less, but that's all we need, just to cross. Okay.
Final shot of the end for skip Sherry Middaugh.
2.
Line's good.
Line's good.
Line's great.
Line's good.
Get ready, Merck.
2.
It's by the Canada flag. Yeah, get ready, though.
Sliding.
Ready.
Finish it, Merck.
Rock comes to rest. It might have been happier if it had bent another inch or two, but it's certainly somewhat in the way of that run back on the rock on the outside right. They are looking at the inside rock on the run back on the left.
Well, Sherry couldn't cover both sides, so there was going to be a run back on one side.
And I really don't even know out there what she had other than like maybe a pick ball. There was no draw, like to guard that hole.
Just catches everything.
Yeah.
Because of all the grooves in it.
Final shot of the third end, Jennifer Jones.
Yeah.
Sherry Middaugh lies one, attempting to steal to go up 2.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get another one in there. I just don't know how.
An angled run back attempt.
Well, or we could have tried.
Yep. Yep. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
Hits it across the top of that Yellowstone. Yellowstone moves, but not enough. Sherry Middaugh and her Ontario team steal that single point.
So Jennifer Jones throwing the in-turn take out here to angle in, just hits it a bit too thin and goes across the top of the yellow Middaugh stone, rolling her shooter out, and then just pushing the Middaugh stone to the back 8 for the steal.
Middaugh follows the second end score of a single point with a steal of 1 on the third. Score 2-0. Middaugh over Jones in the Canadians Women's Classic. You're watching the 2017 Canadians Women's Classic from Portage La Prairie. We'll be right back with the fourth end.
A new world sports pub with a wide selection of sporting events televised at our 8 locations in Manitoba. Tavern United, your destination for great sports all the time.
Tune into Shaw TV's Winnipeg Art to discover local artists in all their mediums, from acrylic, watercolor, oil paint, and sculpture. For a chance to have your art air on Winnipeg Art, contact Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Portage Curling Club. You're watching the 2017 Canad Inns Women's Classic. Keep up with the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Shaw TV Winnipeg, hashtag Curling on Shaw. Back to you guys.
Well, Sherry Middaugh steals a single point in the third end to go up 2-0. Opening rocks of the fourth end underway. Maureen, are you a little surprised maybe that Middaugh played pretty, she played the guard rather than maybe attacking in some way?
Well, yeah, she could have gone in with her second stone and bit the 12-foot and still took that, and still taking that angle away on the right side. She wasn't going to be able to cover both angle takeouts anyway, so I was a little bit surprised she didn't force, put two in there and then really force Jones to make a decision whether she wanted to take that risk.
If she plays the run back and hits and rolls out, it leaves a second shot, or if she says, well, we better take the second stone and give her one, kind of decision-making process.
For sure.
Opening rocks of this fourth end have been thrown. Middaugh, Armstrong to the 4-foot circle, biting the 4. McEwen with a guard, and now Armstrong a center line guard just short of the rings. Now Dawn McEwen's second stone of the end, and Jennifer calls for her to throw the in-turn draw coming into the rings on top of the Middaugh stone biting the 4-foot.
She just want to corner this yellow stone in a full 8-foot.
Gotta go line. We're late. Really hard line. Real hard. You still got it. Go, go, go. Tight. I know. Go, go, go. Go. We gotta rub off. Go. Hard. Hard a little bit. Go, 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 go. Okay.
Over curls and just a bump. That's just a case of just being underthrown, Maureen.
Yeah, a little underthrown, or the weight's good. It's just, it's curling so hard, Resby, there, that it takes the weight off, and just you have to be on it sooner if your weight's close.
Jill threw here and it was pretty straight.
Really?
Yeah, remember?
Lee Merklinger with an out-turn hit, an opportunity to remove the guard and roll to center line behind a pair of guards.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, it's fine.
Sorry, Mert. That touched, Jen? Nope. Oh, it didn't? Okay.
So Lee Merklinger threw an out-turn takeout here. It was nice weight. I think Sherry just maybe gave her a little bit too much ice and
I know. Sorry,
on that shot.
I said that too late to you.
Well, you heard the comment. She said, sorry, Merk, and that would be the indication that everything else must have been proper weight and line, so just a little too much ice, and now Jones will try to follow that first draw with another draw from Jill Officer this time.
Finally tapping! Through! Yeah, you gotta go! Gotta go! Hard!
again, this rock really snapping hard on the in-turn.
Caitlin.
Be nice just to come around ours, Mert. Of course, that's a tolerance.
And those three guards are all angled on each other, Maureen. There isn't a run back possible, so this is going to get pretty messy fairly quickly.
For sure, definitely Sherry Middaugh is in the driver's seat on this end at this point. Lee Merklinger in-turn draw. See where Sherry's taking ice for that. Resby is right out and almost on the edge of the 12-foot.
Line is great.
94. Line's great.
6. Yep. Yes, hard. Really dying. Hard. Right
And this one, too, is beginning to dive over toward those center guards.
No, we're on the blue. Easy, easy, easy. Tough spot. Easy. No, can't happen. Okay.
That grab?
I think Jennifer will try and clean up some of the stuff here. It's getting pretty loaded in the in front of the 4-foot.
Yeah, like, it was fine.
We have to throw with a bit of weight now.
No chance.
Are you getting 8.5?
It's heavy.
8.5.
What did she throw? 94.
Like half rock or
3 of these rocks should go.
Yeah, that's close.
I got a 15 on Jill's. Like long swing, no?
No. It looked like he
Jill officer.
Whoa.
Out turn, hit up the center line.
Yep. Yep. Hard.
It might even spin that blue one in the middle on.
Watch it tight. 27. Sorry.
Well, it did, but out the back.
Removes 3 of the guards.
So Jill throws this out turn, hits 3/4 of the front stones and makes 3 of them go out, rolling everything out the back, leaving her 2 blue stones out front, covering the 4-foot.
Just right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Not in. Right here.
The weight's a bit of a guess for me. So if I throw an odd, do you think it'll be a 3?
I think that's a good.
That's what you would have, right?
I would go odd. Yeah. It's just dying out here.
Right on center line. Line's good. Where? 3. It's running. This is running. It's running. Yeah. 3. Okay. Whoa. Are we in?
Bring it in.
No. 4.
Tuck it in.
No. Yep. Right up.
Well, that one just stayed out there a long time, Resby, and like Sherry was yelling, trying, let's tuck it in, and it just died on right side of the center line, giving opportunity for Jennifer Jones to do straight back.
That was the line that they were trying to find on all of those earlier draws. It ran a little straighter down the ice and began to cut in from the hog line rather than cutting or beginning to curl a little further out past the benches. Caitlin Laws, an out turn hit, run back.
Also, yep. Hard! Good.
Thanks to the run back, rolls behind cover.
That's a great shot by Caitlin. Throws the out turn down here straight up and just angles it in straight back onto the yellow stone, rolls behind cover, her own cover. Line 1.
Try to run it through.
Are we playing the right card? I don't know.
This one or that one? This one. And then at least it's open. If you clip that one, that's fine.
Okay.
Just punching that one in. You want to try and run it this way, Joe?
Whatever you like.
3/4.
Well, you heard the description there, 2 or 3 different options if she happens to get too much or is just not quite enough of the outside of that rock. But the attempt is a run back to remove the rock from the rings as well as remove that outside guard.
Okay, good enough.
And she makes it.
Hey girl, play it that way then.
Oh, Joe Rizzo throws up weight very well as well. She throws the out turn takeout, needs 3/4 of the stone to get the double and perfection, puts them out the back.
We go there. She's like,
Yeah, it's a bit of a guess.
go for it.
So a little discussion between Caitlin and Jennifer as to whether they go around the outside, the out turn side of the 3 guards or they come around and follow the same path that they were playing earlier in the end. And elected to play the same path they were playing earlier in the end. Caitlin with an in-turn draw.
I'm a little late, I thought, but...
Well, Caitlin Gate made sure she was out to the berm on this one. But it is a bit of a gamble here because if you get it tucked around that center guard yellow one, the run back is there again.
Hard line. Hard. 4 foot. Go. Never off.
Well, they finally found the right line. They've top 8 foot, a 3 foot straight run back for Middaugh.
Perfect weight here. They're bringing it in past the tight yellow stone that belongs to Middaugh and get it tucked around there. Just finishes perfect behind that stone, giving now the opportunity for Middaugh to run, do a straight back and bury it.
Seen this spot a few times. What do you like for weight with that ice?
9.5, right on the nose. Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of room between these rocks, Sherry can hit it just off nose and still get a roll behind some of the guards that she has up front on the side of the sheet. So there's a little bit of room for error.
Normal.
Outturn hit up the center line. Over curled, Maureen.
Over curled.
Was I okay weight? Or? Yeah. Wow. Maybe even a 9. Wow.
So just, they're sweeping it all the way down past the hog line, trying to hold it. Just over curls and just catches the side of the Jones stone and moves it over to the 8-foot.
Just by the way it curled, I don't know. Yeah. Hitting it out.
It's her first of 2 rocks. Jennifer will play the in-turn draw, attempt to go to the 4-foot behind the 2 rocks, 2 guards just off center.
A perfect opportunity for Jennifer to get behind that corner, or that guard out in front, just covering the side of the 4-foot. Buries this, evens these out. It'll be a great setup for their end.
Go deeper.
Jones slides deep. Back 8-foot. There's a case, perhaps, Maureen, of Caitlin anticipating the curl based on those earlier rocks and sweeping a little too much too soon.
Perhaps now it leaves Sherry the opportunity to hit and roll behind. She's seen this spot earlier. She had Lee Merklinger throw the outturn down the same spot, and it ran a little bit straighter than they thought and rolled. So she's got a good eye on this line.
9.5. Let's get the roll.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. Was that 9.5 though?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. Same thing then. Let's get the roll.
Sherry Middaugh, her final stone of this 4th end.
Same weight.
Clean it!
Whoa! Same weight!
Yes! Yes!
Hard sweep, it's going to over curl. Sticks for shot stone, but open for Jennifer Jones with her final stone.
They confirm that it's shot stone. Sherry throwing the outturn takeout here, wants the hit and roll, but it just comes up to the face of that rock and noses it for shot.
Jennifer Jones, her final shot of this 4th end. A shot for 2 to tie at the mid-game break. Yep. Jones outturn hit, following the same path as Sherry Middaugh. with the same result. Pretty much a direct hit. Roll to the 4-foot circle. Score of 2. Jones 2, Middaugh 2 after 4 ends at the mid-game break. In just a moment, Blair will have interviews with our 2 skips. You're watching the 2017 Canadians Women's Classic from Portage la Prairie. We'll be back after the mid-game break.
Tune into Hot Wheels with a Z and go car racing.
This is my 57 GMC Carpenter school bus.
Think everything about cars and car culture in Manitoba. Get those RPMs up, take the roof down. Check out all the classic vehicles, learning everything about cars and car culture in Manitoba.
Destination Centers, proud to support our community with 10 destination centers in Manitoba.
I'm Blair Malistravich, and I'm joined here by both skips. Sherry, let's go to you first. Let's talk about the first half for you.
Well, tie ball game, so we've wasted half the game, and we're in the same position. But, you know, quite a few rocks in play. I think both teams are getting used to the ice. It's a little bit tricky out there. We had one side that's a little bit fast, one side's a little bit slow, but I'm sure you're going to see more of the same, some great shot making.
All right, thank you so much for this, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Now, Jennifer, let's go to you. What's your strategy as you move forward?
A little bit of the same. We'll try to get some rocks in play and hopefully maybe get a steal out of it or try to force them and get our deuce. And just want to have the hammer in the last end.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Still lots more to come on the 2017 Canadians Women's Classic.
Tavern United, a new world sports pub with a wide selection of sporting events televised at our 8 locations in Manitoba. Tavern United, your destination for great sports all the time.
Well, we're back for the beginning of the 5th end, the second half of our game between Jennifer Jones and Sherry Middaugh in the Canadians Women's Classic for 2017, a B-side qualifier game. And Maureen, we saw through the first 3 ends kind of all possible things, a blank, a force, and a steal for Middaugh to go up to, and then Jennifer Jones comes back with a deuce to tie, and not surprising they'd be tied after 4.
No, not at all. They're both, the first few ends, playing a little cautious, but there were some great shot making, you know, the angle runbacks by Sherry Middaugh's team and the opportunity to steal in there. So I think we'll likely see the same scenario. We'll see a little bit of cat and mouse, and like Jennifer said in her interview, she's wanting to have the hammer in the end of this game, and right now they'll likely either put a force on or try and steal. So we're in for a great second half.
This home end, the 4th end, the end that Jennifer wants last rock coming home on that 8th end, that out turn, the in-turn side of the ice just seemed to be either unreliable or unpredictable. I'm not sure. The ice makers would say unpredictable. We don't want to call it unreliable. Does that come into play later in their thinking? Do they try to take advantage of that in a future end coming this way, or do they go to the other side to avoid it?
Well, I think they put it in their bank of shots for the future, definitely. But Jennifer's team did discuss going around on the out turn side versus going in that in turn, and you know, it's something that you need to see it, put it in the bank again, and maybe use it as something a little later on. It's something that you really have to be aware of where you're throwing, especially when it's such a curly side of the ice.
Right here.
Opening rock of the end, Jennifer calls for Donna McEwen to throw that tight center guard.
Keep it sliding, keep it sliding, keep it sliding. Go, 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 go. Okay, good. Okay.
And you know, Sherry made the comment too of one side being a little heavy and the other side being a little keener, a little sliding a little bit better. So they have to chart that in their minds too, and everybody has to be aware of that on the team, where they're throwing at all times and what that ice, what the speed of that ice is at that spot.
I added. Line's good. Cheer better. Still. Line's really good. Okay.
Lead Lee Armstrong. Her first shot.
Right up, right
Caught
up.
a little bit by surprise. I was confused because Lee Armstrong's wearing a Rizzo shirt. And I thought to myself, my goodness, they're throwing out of order. But teams that play this much don't throw out of order. So.
Well, I just told them to switch their shirts around just to confuse you, Resby.
It worked. Don McEwen, another
Line's a
draw.
little tight. No, it's good, it's good, good.
It's there, it's all there.
Just over. Split center. Split center. Got to finish at the end. Yep. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, good.
The longer center guard.
Just evenly. Just even. What are we doing? Top 4, top 8.
Well, Jennifer making the attempt to set up for her steal, getting her guards up front.
Pretty late finish here.
The Armstrong now
Line's
with the
good,
guard
just
from
a
the
5.
intern side.
Just a 4, actually. A little light. Line's good. Gotta go. Go then hard. Line's great. Right to the broom. No deeper. Keep it going. Keep it going. Gotta go hard. We're good. Get it in. We're good. We're good. A little bit. Little bit. Yep. Roll. Right shooting. Great scrap, guys.
Well, as we've mentioned, this is the B-side qualifier game, and the winner, of course, advances to tomorrow's playoff round. The loser of this game will drop into a C qualifier game, and they'll play the winner of the game that's currently on the ice between Brett Barber and Bingyi Wang, and that game is underway over on sheet number 3. The score is, in fact, 1-1 after the third end. They're currently playing in the fourth end. The game between Nina Roth and Carrie Anderson, the winner advances. The loser drops into a C qualifier game against the winner between Tirinzoni in Switzerland and Muirhead of Scotland. And in that game, Muirhead leads by a score of 4-1, playing in the fourth end. And our other game currently on the ice. There isn't another game currently on the ice. I've just talked about all 3 of them, haven't I?
Yeah, I think that's maybe Kelsey Rock's team practicing on sheet 1, stretching their legs. They were successful in winning their spot to the qualifying round through the A side.
So truly the other game on the ice is the game that we're watching, the Jennifer Jones-Sherry Middaugh game, with a pair of Yellowstones in the rings, and Jones has Rock on the button, covering the pinhole.
Well, Sherry's asking Lee Merklinger to take the front guards off, open up the forefoot. Jones has one sitting in the back of the forefoot.
Oh, aren't they? They look like idiots.
Kelsey Rock, for those that aren't aware, she is a 2-time world champion, junior champion. She is the daughter of Marcel and Jaylene Rock. I'm sure that those that have watched Marcel play with Randy Furby You'll remember that name.
Line's good. Split center.
Field officer's second stone of this fifth
Like it
end.
to curl a bit. Can you hold off? Just let it work. Just split center.
Attempting to replace the guard that was just removed.
Line's good. It just needs to sit. Just sit. Yeah, a little bit. Yep. 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 Great shot, Julie. Very good.
And does.
Just the one.
7/8 now, eh? No, just one. She wants. Oh.
And Merklinger will again attempt to just remove that top guard placed by Jill Officer.
Clean it. Clean. Yep. Yep. Clean. 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 Good.
Just hit and roll away here.
Safe spot. I'll try. I got it done.
Jennifer will replace it again.
Good pair. Line's good. I added a tiny bit. Line's great. I'm off the room right now. Line's great, guys. Get it over. Hard, hard, hard. Hard! Faster, faster, faster. Needs to finish too. It needs to finish too. Go. Go, go, go. Needs to finish.
Caitlin Law's first shot of the end.
Get it over. Get it over. Get it over.
Work,
Get it over.
work, work to drag it over. But no.
Great sweeping from the front end. So Caitlin just wanting to get this over and high guard, and the front end, Jill and Dawn are sweeping as hard as they can. Jennifer joins in. They just have to get it over, and it just came up short. This gives an opportunity now for Sherry Middaugh to peel off the other Jones guard out front.
She does hit and roll away, but her rock comes to rest in a line that ultimately is going to be a problem if the Middaugh team has to play that in-turn line to the rock at on the button. Jennifer will call for a guard again. Caitlin Law's second shot of the end. She hogged her first guard attempt.
It's going to need to finish here. Line will get there. You got to switch. Dawn's rock. Clean. Easy. Clean only. Clean. Clean. Whoa. 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 Clean. Clean. Yep. Yep. Good. 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 Good.
Brings that rock just to the center line.
That's a good guard. Well, Sherry, thinking that this is her third last stone, should try and run this straight back. And if you peel it off, fine. If you get the straight back jam onto the blue one and remove it, that's great.
That's multiple extra points on the stat sheet.
Yeah, for sure.
In-turn hit. Attempt to run the center line, blue guard in onto yellow, onto blue. Nick.
Don't got it.
Sorry, Joe.
Could have left that a little bit longer.
Apparently they could have left that just a little bit longer. Big break for the Jones team.
For sure. So you see them calling it all the way down, sweep it, hit it on the high side, high nose, back onto the yellow, and just misses the back Jones stone on the back of the button.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that'll get to center.
So with her first rock of the fifth end, Jennifer Jones will play an out-turn draw. Try to get to the top of the rings.
Hair heavier here, hey?
Tucked in, but not buried behind the yellow guard.
Kind of line, like even if we're top 12, but I'd really like to be shot, so.
I think mine picked that one end, so I don't think this should go quick. What I threw last time, the back eight should be close. Yeah.
So sitting second shot wouldn't be a bad thing here. I think Jennifer alluded to that. It would be nice to be second shot, but definitely line is everything on this shot.
Line's good. Key line, a little heavy right now. Whoa, then.
And you could hear they eliminated any consideration of the previous one by saying it picked, so it wasn't us.
That's good.
Bringing it deep for second shot.
It almost came out the other side. All of a sudden, Jennifer's seeing it take off, and she's yelling them to sweep, get it by the front guard, and then it just keeps curling all the way. Actually gets shot, but comes out the other side. There is a hole there. It's very, very tight, but there is a hole. Sherry's taking a look at it.
Once that rock wasn't going to effectively be a guard, they wanted it in the rings, but it was still going to be a guard on the shot stone. But once it wasn't going to be, it became very important that it become second stone.
For sure.
And roll under.
Yeah.
Well, it gives her an opportunity for sure to get to that back button Jones stone now.
Or you can freeze. You like back line?
Yeah.
You like back line? There's also this with the out turn. The hole?
No. No. I'm not sure.
There's a front ender saying this shot is here, and the skip saying no, it isn't.
Well, I know. That's what I'm thinking of.
Well, it
like,
likely looks smaller from where Sherry's standing.
Like T-line to...
Because it was a 13-9, so
yeah.
you would have to throw like
so that is a back line. That's what I'm saying, right?
That was Lee Merklinger looking at that shot. Lee is a sister to Dave and Ann Merklinger from Ontario. I'm sure many people have remember hearing Dave's name. He's an excellent ice maker. And Ann Merklinger is also a past Ontario champion.
The shot that Lee was looking at is one of those risk and reward situations, isn't it, Maureen? If you're down coming home and you have to play that shot for 2 to tie the game, obviously you play it because the shot is there.
For sure.
The question is, what's the risk? What's the reward? The risk is you're not going to make it. High degree of risk, high degree of reward. Timing of the game is the key on that call.
And still get the roll under.
Yeah, it's still pretty slow here.
But this still brings 2 into play for Sherry. And, you know, she wants to score 2, so this is an opportunity to do that.
Thinking like a 70? Yes. Okay, yeah, I get that.
She goes to the out turn.
Be interesting to see how Sherry's out turn runs down here, because she is a definite inside out to the broom, very positive.
T, line's good. T line.
Same line as the Jones rock, a little bit more weight. The call is the tap on the shot rock in the back of the 4-foot circle. Wanting to over curl just a bit and roll behind, but comes to the nose of it. Bites the button, pushes the Jones stone back to lie third shot.
So Sherry throws the out turn, just straight draw. I think just was going to want a little tap and flip off of that back button stone, but it's a little harder and runs a little bit straighter than she thought, and pumps it back to the 12-foot. Gives Jones the opportunity to actually bump it out of there and roll away to lie 3.
More than anything else, Maureen, that shows you the difference in the amount of curl based on the difference in the amount of weight. That amount of weight was where Jennifer was in the top of the 8-foot. Sherry was going to be in the back of the 8-foot into the 12-foot, and it just didn't draw as much.
Well, if you were watching last weekend, we saw the same outturn down this spot. Once you upped your weight a little bit, it would hang a little bit. So you have to, it's very weight sensitive on this spot.
Jennifer Jones' final stone of the 5th end.
No, close. Yeah. Whoa. Hard dog.
Goes up past the guard. Nose hit. Pushes it out past her own rock, and Jones lies 3. That was an excellent shot.
That was an excellent shot by Jennifer. She didn't overthrow it by any means. She threw a nice out turn. Just easy weight. Hack to bumper weight here and just let the rock do the work. Comes across the face of the yellow stone, rolls a little bit towards the center line, and doesn't jam on anything going out the back with that takeout.
So Jones lies 3, but the key stone is the rock just thrown that lies right on the center line, fully buried, biting the button by a couple of inches. Very difficult situation for the Middaugh team.
Well, it's a perfect setup for a steal for Jones for sure. Middaugh is going to have to bite as much of the button as she can see to possibly get a point.
Because we can't have it bust too much. Okay. Same weight. We're just going to play the same shot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just play it closer to the guard.
Okay.
I like the same weight. Okay? Yeah. Same weight. Okay, what did I throw? 70. Okay. It's a little less ice then? It is, yeah.
So she's playing past that center guard to the shot stone on the button. In a perfect world, she taps it back to score 1. It's not all that imperfect if she ends up giving up a steal of 1.
For sure. So she's just going to throw the same weight she just threw.
Top of the rings, comes to that rock on the button, taps it full on the button, but ends up giving up the steal of 1, but facing 3. That's not particularly a bad result. Jones 3, Middaugh 2. We'll be back right after this with coverage of the 6th end in the final game of the 2017 Canad Women's Classic in Portage on Shaw TV and Shaw Direct.
Hello, who's this? Oh, it's Chloe. Chloe has an idea she wants to share with the world. She picks up her camera, she shoots her video.
Hey, where do frogs keep their money? At the riverbed.
And finally she edits her masterpiece. Chloe then sends her video to Shaw TV where it can be aired on community producers. It's just that easy. If you want to be like Chloe, email us at createtv@shaw.ca. Community producers, every fortnight on Shaw TV.
Canad Destination Centers, proud to support our community with 10 destination centers in Manitoba.
Team Jones steals a point on the 5th end. If we go to the 6th end of the B-side qualifier game in the Canad Women's Classic, and Jones immediately goes into the ring with Don McEwen's first stone into the 8-foot circle. Middaugh calls for Lee Armstrong to play the intern draw of the high corner guard.
Tight guard, Don.
hasn't had a change head since we got here. No, we changed it yesterday.
Well, that last Dan Resby, that was an opportunity that Jones didn't pass her by. She really made a great shot with her first stone or her final stone, and that put that steal into play.
Middaugh was close to a very good shot, but didn't come up quite enough. Might have had enough weight to push it back for second shot. Don McEwen's second shot asked for the tight guard.
Notice they went to the out turn this time. Easier to put the guard up with the out turn than the in.
Allowing Middaugh to play that tricky in turn that they played the fourth end.
Yeah. It's low here, isn't it? It's not bad. Remember my guard came up? You're in a decent spot here.
Yeah. Okay.
Trust it, though.
Lee Armstrong in-turn hit. This is a spot that's been tricky for both teams all day. Past the guard.
Oh, really nice shot by Lee Armstrong. They talked in the hack about weight and to trust this spot. Because it's a little bit tricky, they got it by the front and nosed the Jones stone through the house.
Well, Maureen, we had a nice message of appreciation from a curling fan up in Roblin, for goodness sakes, Derek Bezo. We really appreciate hearing from Derek, and he told us how much he appreciates knowing what's going on in the other games here on this same draw. So while we watch this, we're going to jump across to sheet number 2, where Carrie Anderson has scored a 3 on the fourth end, and Carrie Anderson now leads Nina Roth by a score of 4-3, playing end number 5. The Barber team has scored, in fact, stolen a single point on the fourth end. The Barber team leads Bing Yu Wang of China by a score of 2-1 after 4 ends. And in the Muirhead-Tirinzoni game, Muirhead also a steal of 1 in the 5th end, and they have a 5-1 lead over Tirinzoni. So those are the 3 games going on. Back to our game here, the B-side qualifier. Jones leads Middaugh by a score of 3-2.
Right here? You like that? I don't care.
Yep. Yeah, we can.
And Middaugh was looking at removing the single Jones stone in the edge of the 12-foot circle, but has now gone to remove the center guard, hoping to roll over, set up a guard that they can work with themselves.
Well, it gives her a better opportunity to possibly get multiple this end if she does that. Hitting the blue stone and trying to get a roll behind the corner guards leaves it quite deep in the house.
In-turn hit from Lee Merklinger does get the hit, the roll. Middaugh has a pair of corner guards and a pretty good setup for this end.
I think so. Seems good here too, eh? Yeah, it's good.
The Jones team playing that out-turn side of the ice, as we talked about a little earlier. Jill Officer.
Line's good. 4 feet. Close. Let it work. Gotta go. Okay, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Line's good.
Sweep it to that same center line guard position.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Nice spot, Jill. Good. There you go. You like coming here?
We can try and clear it one more time.
What do you think?
I like that.
Okay.
Right into it.
It's okay.
Sherry electing to go with the angle. Clear shot, maybe jam on that back 12-foot rock and clear them both out of there.
It's a shot they made twice in the opening end of the game, one with either turn, one in either direction.
Okay.
Main thing being though to remove that center guard as they did.
Mm-hmm.
As Sherry said, they considered whether or not to dive behind that corner guard that they'd set up. One more time they'd remove the guard.
Okay.
You're probably sticking out.
Yeah. No, I didn't mind actually. It worked out well.
No, I had the 8. Right? Usually the 1.
Sorry, I threw one of my rocks, but I'm not sure necessarily.
So what are we giving? Are you giving Jen one of mine?
Yeah.
Less.
Yeah. Okay. What is this?
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's not a curling one?
Nope.
Okay. We wanted like...
Both teams were talking about their rocks there, which rocks they were throwing, 1 and 8, and curly or straight.
And understand, folks, both rocks are going to curl. It's just a case of which one is going to curl more than the other. And I think we've determined this is not a curling one. Caitlin Laws, her first shot of this 6th end, to replace the center guard.
Rhythm. I'd like it to curl here a bit, but you got to be tight. Got to be tight.
Jill's rock.
Hard. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Good shot. Good.
John, do you want your rocks?
All right.
And now Middaugh elects to go behind that center guard.
Just got to be biting 8 foot. That's what I was thinking. Do you like that?
Yeah, then she's going to run it. And then the middle's clogged up.
What about one more peel?
Well, it's the same as if you draw there. It's going to run it.
It's up to you. Then we're drawing on your next, though, right? Or okay.
Yeah. I think one more.
I think it's smart.
Electing to repeat what Lee Merklinger did with her final stone. Joanne Rizzo will do the angle takeout again.
Yes! Hard!
Attempting to remove a pair of stones.
Right up! Right up! Hard! Roll it, Army.
Closer this time, but over curling.
Okay. Right over, right over, right over.
Rolls away.
Great.
Be a little secure, it might come off.
What's that?
Okay, well, let's get a good 21 on this.
I know, I'm just trying to think which one I've drawn more so I can give it to her.
You threw that nice guard on your 6th.
Okay, I'll give her the 6th then. I'll take
Okay,
the 5.
I'm sure the 5 was fine. I just...
We want like biting the top 4 lines, like full 8 foot. Coming around, no staggers.
Sorry?
Full 8 foot.
Okay.
I think it'll be a hair slower across this 4 foot.
I think I agree with you, yeah.
A couple feet anyways. Okay, shoot for a full 8.
So it's fine to switch up rocks, but somebody has to make sure they know which rocks are which.
Need to remember which is what and who threw this. And,
yeah.
Caitlin Laws, 2nd stone of the 6th end.
Wait only.
In turn draw.
Line's good. Line. Clean it. Oh! Are you heavy, eh? Off, Billy. It's got a curl. Yeah, no. Back in.
No.
Okay. Good try.
Well, coming deep behind the tee gives an opportunity for Sherry to either freeze on top of it or just tap it back and roll a bit.
Right to it. If you tap it, that's not awful. Yeah, just above. Good try. Yeah, you can. It's just below the tee line.
Okay.
Do you want to just throw back 8?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, back 8.
Okay,
pretty much the same line.
I got 13.5 on it. So then you'd need a bit less ice, wouldn't you?
So Joanne Rizzo will follow the Caitlin Laws rock. Like to come to the face of the Laws stone, perhaps bump it back an inch or 2 or 3, but a perfect freeze would not be a bad thing either.
I would prefer the freeze just because it's not buried right now. You can still see a little piece of that blue stone. And it's a high guard that it's behind.
How's the weight?
93.
8. Yep. 8. Yeah. Line. Hard line. 8. Hard. You gotta go line. Hard, hard, hard. Hard. Yes, you gotta go hard.
She'd asked her for back 8-foot weight, didn't quite have it, had draw weight.
Well, they sweep this all the way down. It's starting to curl, and the weight's coming off of it. And they just need to tap that back Jones stone just a little bit, but it over curls and leaves Jones sitting 1.
Like you're trying to tap it though. So
they're wrong.
I think right on
And
the
it's
edge.
gonna curl, right?
Yeah.
Jones with her first stone of this 6th.
I'd like to bite the 4 to lie too. I'd ideally like to be corner frozen on hers, but you can't.
Yeah, I got 13.6 and they thought hers was heavy, so.
Speed looks decent here, actually.
You heard Jennifer, she'd like to bite the 4. She'd really like to be corner frozen on the yellow rock. Same line of delivery, the in-turn draw.
Well, anywhere in the 8-foot, just as long as it's in 8-foot, 4-foot along. You know, the line is everything here to protect that shot stone of hers in the back 4.
Make it good, guys. Yes. Go for it. Go for it. Whoa. Go on two. Well then. Whoa. Perfect. Hard line a little bit if you can.
You can just see that weight coming off that rock as it dies into the corner edge of the 4-foot, and she got exactly what she was talking about.
Perfect stone by Jennifer. Great shot.
That's really good, yeah. Okay, I got 14 here on her. Yeah.
He comes in here on the in-turn, and they're just keeping it clean. Now they're just get it down to the corner of that yellow stone to sit second shot. And Sherry's not going to attempt to bump anything here. She's just going to try and corner the blue stone that Jones just put there. And
So are we coming to the
she's going to be drawing with her last stone anyway, so she might as well do it now and get her weight down.
We got to be T-line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what is that?
So we got to be
14.3?
T-line.
Is that like a 9
shot? T-line.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to the back one.
To the back blue?
Yeah.
Okay, that one slid a little bit better than Joe's.
Okay.
That was a 14.3.
Still put it their weight.
Yeah, but each rock is sliding a bit better. So what are you guys thinking?
85. 90?
90. Yeah.
So you heard Sherry say she wants to, with the curl in that ice, she wants to use that curl as the rock is dying to come in and freeze against the rock in the back of, they're biting the back of the 4-foot, just past the one just thrown by Jennifer. This is Sherry Middaugh's first stone of the 6th end.
Oh, a tough shot, Resby.
Even a 95 might get there.
Jones' team has had the pressure on since the mid-game break. Whatever they talked about certainly worked.
Line's good.
8, 9, 7, 8.
Well then, whoa. Close line. Close line.
7.
Yeah,
Line's
line.
great. Yeah. Right here on the T-line. Up. T-line.
Close line.
Here's where it really begins to cut.
Right on the T-line. Right up. Yep. Hard. Hard. Right up. Go, go, go.
Not up.
They got off it just a little bit and just came up a little bit short for where Sherry wanted it on that back blue Jones stone.
Yeah, even if we
They're waiting on it to start to bend, and then when it started to bend, the weight came off of it. It just ends up resting on the top corner of the high blue stone that belongs to Jones.
You like that?
Yep.
Even if I clip that, it should go, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's impossible to, to jam it because it'll come off there.
Yeah.
So
We've thrown
So
this.
those are
Never, but I don't think it's going to curl quite as much. So
I would
I'm gonna-
agree.
solid bump is what I'm thinking.
You got it. Actually, maybe we're getting it on the high side because maybe that blue one down.
So it's an intern solid bump, as she said, up the center line. If she, the very real chance that the yellow goes out off of blue, but she still lies a pair. Over curls just a little bit, and she taps the yellow out without touching either blue.
For sure. She wants to just basically tap it back with bumper weight out the back and not touch anything really, if she can help it.
Sorry.
Little reset. Not an easy thing to do, Maureen, to get into the motion of things and then stop completely and start over.
No, you have to go back to your routine, start back at square one and go through your same routine as you normally do.
Watch the shooter. They shot.
A better
Nice
result
shot.
than might have been anticipated to come out of it lying 3.
For sure. It's a really nice shot. Well, maybe a little bit more weight than she thought she was going to throw. It held for a long time and starts to bend just as it gets over the center line. Just taps it back and lies 3 Jones stones.
I'm just trying to think, did I not?
Yeah. Your run back was a 9.5 and over curls.
Yeah, but I think here with a 10 is fine.
That's good?
Yeah. Okay, 10 right on the nose is good.
Yeah, perfect.
Final shot of the end. Again, Middaugh faces 3. Needs to make nose hit
Yeah, you got it.
for a single and a tie.
Okay, a 10.
Yeah.
And
10.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. Clean it.
Clean up.
Yes! Clean.
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 Just clean.
Clean.
Whoa, whoa.
contact, rolls over to a catcher.
Okay, I gotta go pee.
There may be a measure,
One yellow?
but no. Middaugh scores a single. Score is 3-3. Jones Middaugh, 6th end of the Canadians Women's Classic 2017. We'll be right back with the 7th end on Shaw TV and Shaw Direct.
Tavern United, a new world sports pub with a wide selection of sporting events televised at our 8 locations in Manitoba. Tavern United, your destination for great sports all the time.
Catch the action on Shaw TV for both the men's and women's finals in the 10th annual DeKalb Superspiel from the Morris Curling Club. This important World Curling Tour event will feature excellent competition with teams from across Canada and around the world. The DeKalb Superspiel Finals, Monday, November 20th at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., exclusively on Shaw TV.
Welcome back to the Portage Curling Club. You're watching the 2017 Canad Inns Women's Classic. Keep up with the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of them. Search at Shaw TV Winnipeg, Curling on Shaw. Back to you guys.
Opening rock of the 7th end. Sherry Middaugh asked Lee Armstrong to throw that longer center guard. Lee Armstrong now wearing a shirt that says Armstrong. I'm not sure what exactly is going on there, but in any case, she made the
It's all
shot.
you. Line's good. Fight for. Fight for line 2. It's going to over curl. Keep going as long as you can here. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Keep going. Bite the 4. It's coming out the other side. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Keep her going.
I don't know.
Keep going, Jill. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I can see.
Tom McEwen with her opening rock draws to the 12-foot. It does come not quite all the way out the other side, as Jennifer said, but it is open from this side if there were ever an occasion to play it, which there won't be early in the end. Middaugh will ask lead Lee Armstrong to go to the 4-foot behind those 2 center guards.
T-line.
Well, there's a nice crowd here tonight watching.
Gonna be a little heavier out here.
Lots of people up here, lots of great smelling foods behind us.
I had noticed that myself. Now, this bonspiel is a tremendous asset to curling in Manitoba, and particularly, obviously, in the Portage area. The caliber of teams and the international field in this Canad Inns Women's Classic attracts a crowd of knowledgeable and appreciative curling fans. They're seeing some very good games.
You tip the guard. It's fine. Hack. Okay.
Armstrong does make that guard, or that draw to the button behind the 2 guards. McEwen will attempt the in-turn past the guards, a little tap on that.
This looks like the 3rd end all over again, but the opposite teams or colors are in the house.
Yep. Whoa. No, 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 no. 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 We will. Whoa. Yep.
Past the guard with lots of room,
Hard
curling in.
go. I gotta get this yellow.
Go, Jen. Gotta go.
Good. Good.
Middaugh stone removed from play, and they roll back into the back corner of the 8-foot.
Well, really nice shot here. Just lovely weight control, and sweep it just down to the corner of that stone, Middaugh stone, and out the back and roll to the 12-foot.
Hit on that shot in the back of the 8-foot, attempting to roll to the center line, didn't get the roll. Jill Officer, an in-turn hit on the open Middaugh stone.
Hard! Hard! Anything, Dawn, anything, anything. Go, 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 go. Sorry, Jilly, my bad.
Well, Jennifer wanting to roll away from the center, roll towards the 12-foot. Jill noses it.
And that shows you the logic of the Middaugh strategy, playing the hit on that open rock. 2 hits in a row, and now it's positioned nicely to roll. It'll still roll to the back of the button from that position, but we're now rolling into the 4-foot circle.
And behind cover.
Whoa, on this
and
one. Whoa. Whoa. Just clean it a bit. Whoa, whoa. Still on the outside, Joe. Okay, let it hit. I think we can bring it down if we can. Okay. So close on yours. I can have 14 on it. Did you throw on it? No. Like first, I thought I was expecting. Oh, really? Well, so did Joe. Well, Like that. There more.
Clean.
Easy, easy.
Whoa.
Officer, intern hit. Again, the attempt to roll a little bit to the outside.
Hard, Dawn. Hard, Dawn. Go. Good.
And well done.
Okay, same thing.
So I think just threw a nice takeout weight here and just got a little flip to the 12-foot. Well executed by Jill.
And this is Joanne Rizzo.
Whoa!
The first stone of the 7th end.
Okay, gotta start
Again
giving
playing the
less
hit
ice.
and roll, and
Okay.
again the nose hit.
I mean, this would be ideal, but I think we just go there. Okay. Here.
I mean, I think I made it pretty good, and then they punch on my head.
Yeah.
I know.
Clean. Lean on me.
Caitlin
No,
Laws.
off. Okay.
She will make contact, but she'll
Okay.
roll out of the rings.
Well, that's an opportunity now for Sherry Middaugh to go around.
Back here. Okay. So where do you want it? Just tee? It'd be nice to be back 4. It's got to be buried. Yeah. Oh, right here. I think I like. Well, what did you get on mine? 85. 85. So for you, 90. Is it gonna be back 4? Ready? Yeah. Good thinking. Yeah. Very late finish.
Joanne Rizzo's second stone of the 7th end. A draw, as you heard Sherry say, like to be in the back 4, needs to be behind the
Line's
cover.
a little tighter than Army.
Gotta go.
Okay, you got it. Whoa. You gotta switch. You gotta switch. Line's great. Hard, bring it back. All the way. Yellow. Yep. All the way. Hard. Push.
Trying really hard to get this buried.
4 foot. Oh.
Would have been much happier with another 6 inches of curl. It's, while it's virtually fully buried in that shot, it's actually quite open, and for the tap and roll back into the back corner of the 12-foot.
Yeah. And then it does go. It's just not working.
Which Caitlin Laws will attempt to do.
Off. Little bit. Off. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Yeah. Watch the roll. Yep. Whoa. Got it, girl.
I think we gotta still come around, don't you?
And a nice shot, really nice shot from Caitlin. Just easy weight coming in here. Wants to get a corner of that yellow stone in the back of the 4-foot and roll away from the button.
I will admit, Maureen, I had my fingers crossed after making the comment that was wide open for that shot to hit and roll to the 12-foot. So Caitlin made me look okay on that comment. Jones' team lies too, with skips rocks to come in the 7th end.
Okay, 9.5. Get the roll.
Well, Sherry needs to remove this stone in the back 8-foot, 12-foot area.
That's kind of hard to get there. Okay, 9.5.
Yeah, we're gonna make this.
Weight's good. Normal.
The hit attempt in the rock in the back corner, attempting to roll to the center line. Stays in play, but second shot.
So close.
Well, she was going for the roll, but it was moving all the way. They were yelling sweep all the way down.
Didn't quite get to you. Got it.
She gets too far inside of that blue stone and it rolls right across the rings into the 12-foot open on the other side.
Okay, well, we may be freezing to her. We can really strip it and then make her try and draw that other side.
Go for it. I think you want to bite the four regardless of the line. If the line should get there good enough.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't time yours, so I timed ours at 14. And then we've had...
I think this is a good spot, eh?
Yep.
Normal?
Normal, yeah.
Jones now with an opportunity to score a pair on this 7th end to go up coming home, but needs to make that draw.
Line's good. Line's good. It's all you. Room. Line's great. Curly. Top court, maybe. Yeah. Hard for line. Hard. You gotta go. Hard. Line's perfect. Line's great. All you. Room. Gotta finish this. Needs to finish. Hard, Jill. Go, 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 go. Every inch, every inch. Hard. Go.
Good brush. Shoot. Why did that come off the end?
Again, a foot or two short of perfect, as if it slips another foot or two deep, it goes over another 6 inches.
Well, they're trying to drag it as far as they can, sweeping as hard. They're by the front, but they just lose the weight on it and ends up being 8 foot.
But as they look at it, the concern now, Maureen, is that if they try to follow and chip out that shot that Jennifer has just made, which is the shot that was called earlier, the risk of running it back onto the yellow one in the back of the 12-foot exists, and so they've got to be very, very careful in the shot selection on this one.
That here, she might get 3.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risk.
We'd have to come back here. And try and, yeah, poke it out here. It does finish, we know that.
Yeah.
That's that out-turn draw area that Sherry threw down there and gave up a steal of 1 and 5.
What are you feeling? Are you okay giving up 2?
Yeah, I'm fine giving up 2. I'm just not even sure, like, what did you get on that one? 14.8 I got.
14.6.
Like, that's not a guarantee either, right? What do you like, Merck?
No matter where you draw, she's got this.
I like this.
You could try here. You could try back here.
Well, she does draw on the out turn. She could go back forward.
Well, you gotta come on this side so she doesn't have anything to run back on it.
This isn't here,
Anything on this side of the line, she's got that for 3.
It's not. Yeah, like if we're here, she's got that all day. They've played at the whole end.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking like it's gonna warp.
What are you
I'm thinking it's gonna end up here.
And that's great. Yeah, that's fine.
Even back here is okay.
Yeah, like if we're second shots.
We can't go here.
Okay.
Has to be behind the tee.
Okay.
Okay. So we threw here.
Yeah, and that was the first
What do you
time
think about weight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
90.
Yeah, we got to take a
Like
bit
at
more.
80,
That was.
She threw here. We haven't thrown here in a while.
We haven't thrown here in a long time.
85.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly right. Yeah.
As you watch it, it'll die.
Yeah.
Dragging it, it's no use.
Yeah, and if we're calling line, we got to go, like, even if you think it's heavy, because I think it will fudge in the middle.
Okay. Good. Right here? So whatever you think it is for
I think so, Joe.
take one off.
Even a team with the experience, or a skip with the experience of Sherry Middaugh, has got to approach this shot with some trepidation, Maureen, given that neither team, or put it the other way, both teams have missed more than they've made on this side of the ice in this run.
it's a little bit unpredictable, and it's so weight sensitive. If you know, if you're just back 12 foot or back 8 foot, it hangs on you a little bit, hangs out there on you a little bit, and yet if you draw weight for sweeping weight to get it around, if you don't get onto it early enough, you're going to rack. So it's a tough shot by Sherry Middaugh.
Looking for the out-turn draw to get it into that run and take it deep into the back of the forefoot. Definitely behind the tee line.
Gotta go the whole way. Go.
Yeah, wait. Line's great. Yeah. Back here. Keep your brims down. Whoa.
She got the line she wanted.
Finish it. Go. Right up.
Nice one.
Nice shot by Sherry Middaugh. Beautiful weight. They could have even taken it a little bit farther back into the forefoot. Out turn, they're bringing it in, knowing that it's going to fudge here a little bit when it gets into the middle. Starts to really curl, and the weight comes off of it. One sweeper there behind the tee. Ends up back for button.
Now Jennifer's choice is to try to follow, or to do as Sherry predicted she would do, which is follow her previous shot with just that little bit more weight, tap it back, push it back out of the forefoot circle. Great pressure shot by Sherry Middaugh.
Oh, beautiful shot by Sherry. If they bring that a little bit farther into the back forefoot, it makes it even really tough shot for Jones to try and get to that shot. But this is still a really tough shot as well. All weight sensitive.
Seems to be running a hair straighter, but I'm just throwing a bit less than everybody's been throwing.
Yeah.
So.
Let's go.
Final stone of the 7th end.
Yep.
Jones Middaugh, 3-3. Jones attempting a tap back. 1, 2, possibly 3.
No.
Makes the contact. Back to the shot stone. Rolls out. Again, I say, perhaps a measure.
Well, Jennifer threw that really well. Nice weight on it. Just hung out there a little bit longer than they thought and didn't get enough of the stone.
Sorry, guys.
And then we lay off for like a second. And you're like,
making sure it's not going to melt the whole.
I thought it was a little bit tight.
Yeah, because it was really
Same with your draw.
Didn't overthrow it.
You know, like in that one, like,
Yeah, there is no hole.
yeah.
Better to just get on it until the hog line and then get off. If you need to.
Yeah.
Because you can't drag. You can just watch it.
Yeah, you guys were on it.
Well, Maureen, this is now our 4th game in the 3 in the Canad Inns Men's Classic, and now our 1st in the Women's Classic, and this is our first measure.
That is right. We haven't had any measures, so this is be interesting to see. It's 1 point for a team and on the 7th end.
I'm going to predict that it was a yellow. But I'm going to wait till they put it on the scoreboard so we know for sure.
Big risk and reward on that one.
It looks like they're going to have their team meetings without telling us who scored. So we'll wait till they come back. We'll go to a break. We will see what happens, and when we come back, you're watching the final game, or this final end of this game from the Canad Inns Women's Classic on Shaw TV and Shaw Direct.
Who's this? Oh, it's Chloe. Chloe has an idea she wants to share with the world. She picks up her camera. She shoots her video.
Hey, where do frogs keep their money? At the riverbed.
And finally, she edits her masterpiece. Chloe then sends her video to Shaw TV, where it can be aired on community producers. It's just that easy. If you want to be like Chloe, email us at createtv@shaw.ca. Community producers, every fortnight on Shaw TV.
Canad Inn's Destination Centers, proud to support our community with 10 destination centers in Manitoba.
Well, we're back with the 8th end of our game in the Canad Inns Women's Classic. Jennifer Jones, in fact, won that measure, so Jones scores 1, leads 4-3 coming home. Sherry Middaugh with last rock. And move over to the other sheets. On sheet number 2, we'd told you that Carrie Anderson had scored 3 to go up 4-3. Well, it's been wide open after that. Roth scored 3 on 5. Anderson scored 2 on 6. Roth scored 2 more on 7th. And Roth, the team from the United States, leads Carrie Anderson by a score of 8-6 coming home. On the game between Brett Barber and Bingyu Wang, the Chinese team scored a pair on the 5th and stole 1 on the 6th. They lead 4-2 after 7. The 7th end has not been marked. They play in the 8th now. And the game between Muirhead and Tirinzoni has ended. Handshakes in the midst of the 8th end. The Swiss team scored 1 on the 5th, 1 on the 6th to make the game interesting, but Muirhead scored 1 on the 7th to lead by 3 coming home. So Muirhead advances, and Muirhead will play the loser of the Roth-Anderson game. The winner of the Barber-Wang game will play the loser of our game, and that game is now the 4th rock of the end. Second shot by Lee Armstrong, with Jones leading by 1, 4-3 in the final end.
Well, a tough one for Jennifer on that last end. She makes that rock move anywhere, and she has a chance for multiple points, but only gets the 1.
So pair of guards.
Go here, hack the book. Go here.
Middaugh has a rock in the open in the front of the 12-foot circle, and Jones asks the Jill officer to remove it from play.
Solid. No, really big. No. Like a 10 almost. This straw, right? First straw. Earlier.
Well, Sherry Middaugh looking to set up for her deuce, so she's going to go around the tight corner guard.
Sherry, like a 5? Yeah, we got to bury it though. Like even if you're back here, it's got to be buried.
Just get by. How's that ice look?
On hers, I got a 91.
I got a 97.
That's more than I got.
Ooh, so I need more. I need like a 90?
90.
Well, with 2 guards in play, Sherry Middaugh and her team can very much be thinking about ways to score a pair for the win. But early rocks in the end.
Line's good.
Lee Merclair with her first stone.
Do you hold back? Where? No. Got 10. No.
Can we chip off that? We got to slow it down.
Yeah, hard.
Oh, whoa, you're not on it.
Whoa, Joe.
Whoa. Good.
Good
Take
call.
it. Sorry.
70.
Little overthrown. A good tick advisory by the sweepers.
Yeah, that was a good call. That's one way to get behind the cornerstone.
Yeah. I think we have to draw. Tee line.
25. It looked like it was like
They're behind the tee.
I don't teams are on their guard. Speed's good.
I just wanted you to throw what she threw because we didn't touch
Sorry,
her.
where? Tee line.
They're just behind the tee. They're like back button. Tee line.
95. That would have been two.
Yeah.
So a bit of a break for the Middaugh team, and Jennifer has to invent a new approach. Go around the guard to the front of the stone that just came to rest behind the tee line in the 8-foot circle.
Little bit line. Yep, for line. Gotta go. Heavy. Gotta go. Heavy. Go. Go, go, go. Hard. Hard.
You gotta roll it in, Caitlin. Roll it in behind ours.
Rock is cookie. Okay. Okay.
Well, Jennifer Jones's team comes up on that corner guard and rolls into the 12-foot. They yelled down, it was heavy, but it was moving. They had to sweep it, try and get it by, and it just overcurled, rubbing that yellow stone and rolling towards the center line 12-foot.
Nice hit and roll behind the guard.
Oh, nice shot by Lee Merklinger here. Hits and rolls nicely round under cover of her corner guard there and tucks it half showing, covering the back 8-foot stone.
A little more ice than you two, eh? Yeah, it is.
Caitlin Law's first rock of the end.
I think it'll take us time getting over there, but once it goes, it'll go.
Jennifer again calls for her to go past those two in the front to the rock behind the tee line and the side of the 8-foot circle.
Let's see if it's you.
Line's good, a little tight. No, you got room. Room. Right there. Close. Make it good. Weight only. It's got a bust on. It's got a bust.
That's a spot of the ice. Resby, we haven't seen a lot of rocks come down here.
Okay.
So level, heavy, slides deep.
Great try, Caitlin.
So, wow. Yeah. So it's like a
Sherry's instinct is to try to take that shot away from Jennifer.
The higher the better. Block it off. You're correct. Yeah. Extension.
What did you get on that?
I got 13.7. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
And her line was mint.
Yeah.
I might give you a bit more ice though.
Yeah, she throws it different.
I think draw to tee right now for her is auto. Are we shot?
Yeah.
So where do you want it?
But if she comes down to her own, she'll be shot.
Okay,
so we're just going to try to get by our yellow one on the top, full 8.
I think tee right now for you is odd.
The tolerance is to be in the full 12.
Yeah, I like that. Nice odd. What are you thinking?
13.8 on that. They
95.
didn't sweep it, right? They didn't sweep it, so you like odd.
Yeah, 95 dot's your range.
Middaugh lies 1.
No, no.
Okay.
Rizzo, out-turn draw, attempt to put it full into the 8-foot circle, tucked behind the rock in the front of the 12-foot.
Line's good. 4-5. Room right now. Room.
Okay, take a look.
Looking for any kind of a bit of a tuck here. Resby, tuck around that 12-foot stone. Can't be deep.
Yes, line. Room. Great. Good judge, guys.
So Rizzo makes the shot that Jones was trying to get made. Needed to come a little bit further. There's an opportunity here for the...
Well, it's one or the other, you know. It needed to be just tucked 12 foot or else right down, buried behind, so that it doesn't leave enough to see to possibly hit the double here. It should jam if she does hit it, so looking at that angle.
They're looking at the in-turn double run.
Make it should run.
Rip the 2 guards off. Should contact the rock just thrown into the that's full in the 8 foot ahead of the tee line. If you get the right angle on that, it just might move all the yellows. Caitlin Laws, in-turn hit.
Whoa,
Attempting
whoa,
to peel a pair of guards and move some rocks in the rings as well.
Just like you called Resby. Great shot by Caitlin.
And gets the bonus that the rock that stayed in play is the perfect guard now on the Jones stone.
So she throws firm weight at this. Needs to just hit right on nose. Off nose to angle them through and miss the blue one in the back 8 foot. Pulls those 2 stones into the 12 foot, leaving her own shot covered.
I only have a little piece. I don't think it'll stay there.
Middaugh still lies second, third, and fourth shot, but the Jones shot rock
What if you try and draw around
is
on
dead
it?
buried behind the rock in the top of the 12-foot circle.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that is she's always got that flop behind the guard to try and get us out. I don't even mind opening it up with a back line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. It's just that with your rock back there, that's helping her to get out of the end. But I like the back line, and that way, if you,
I think with the back line, I'm probably rolling towards the center on this side.
Yeah,
of center
which is
right
fine,
here.
right? Because it's going to be hard to.
I can't really see very much of it.
Okay, so back line, and if we tick the front, that's great too, because we have lots of options, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
So you want me to move it out or just move it back?
Well, if you're playing back line, you're going to be knocking it out, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of great calls.
Yeah.
Because
That was a good question by Joanne Rizzo, just to make sure that they know exactly what weight they're throwing. And because Sherry has to adjust the broom for that weight. And you heard them talk about the option of coming up on the top 12-foot yellow one and splitting the 2 rocks on and opening it up.
That look good?
Yeah. I gave you a odd out last time?
Yeah.
Is this a 90 then?
Yeah.
Joanne Rizzo's final stone of this potentially final end of the game. An out
Back line, plus!
back line weight wanting to remove the Jones stone from play and roll to the center line.
Yeah! Back line!
Yeah!
But she'll rub and roll to the center line off her own guard, or a rock in the top 12.
Okay. Okay. That's all right.
Weight was good. More solid for weight.
Probably a bit lighter, but.
So want a back 12-foot weight here, and then it just starts to take off once it gets across the center line, and they're trying to hold it, but it comes up on the 12-foot stone, rolls towards center line. Oh, great opportunity for Jennifer Jones to hit and stick right here.
Play has all been Middaugh's way throughout the end, but that one rub and roll lets Jones off the hook. They're perhaps at worst in a position now to force Middaugh to take a one and go to an extra end.
Trying to get it by.
Jones first one of the end. In turn in a tricky spot on the center line. That's been a problem all day. Turns out to be a problem again on this final end. Jones rolls back in behind and fortunately stays in play. Second and third shot now for Jones, with Middaugh lying first, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
So that's that in-turn down that close to center line where, you know, it just is a bit unpredictable. It over curls here and they're trying to hold it as long as they can to get it by the front, and it just rubs on the guard. It doesn't even hit the 12-foot Yellowstone and stay in it. Rolls right back into the 12-foot beside the other Jones counter and sets up a little bit of a pocket for Middaugh.
That's why I just need to decide weight.
So right to it. Okay.
Right there and just throw it back. She's back 12 weight.
Anyway,
oh, she is. Anyhow.
Joe's
yeah.
was odd. Yeah. And she was.
Where was I?
Top 8.
I had you right there.
So I'm thinking of 90.
Your draw.
The back line was 82.
Blue, so I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that.
And it wasn't even really back line.
Yeah. I'm thinking of 90.
Yeah. When my draw came to here,
yeah, but it's just like
we can come to
that,
it.
and Merck was heavy.
Yeah,
and
you just need one rock over from mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to the back one, just so there's no double.
So what do you think I need?
Range is 85, 90. I was throwing odd.
Yes.
Like it's to there.
Okay, so I need a 95.
Yeah. Sure.
We're thinking 90.
85.
I don't want to overthrow it. That's the only thing.
You can come to it. It's fine. You don't want to what?
Overthrow it because yours ran.
I threw 70.
Your rocks are running nice. Like I like a 90 here.
I had a lot of weight.
Okay.
Jennifer Jones leads Sherry Middaugh 4-3.
Nice weight you threw down here.
Middaugh about to throw her first stone of this final end. She'll attempt the out-turn draw down to the two blue stones, the Jones stones in the back of the 8-foot.
Well, Sherry's had really nice draw weight throughout this game. She made a clutch draw shot on the 7th end. So we'll see her draw the same out-turn.
A little light.
6. Go then.
6, 7.
Hard line.
Right up.
Hard line.
Right to it.
You go all the way.
Just go right to it.
7.
Where is it?
7.
Right up.
Gotta go.
Right up. You got it. It's great. Right up. You got it.
Right up.
Keep going. Keep going. Right up. Right up. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Makes the shot exactly the way she charted it out. Nestles in amongst between the two. 2 rocks to come.
So her out-turn draw down here, and they thought it was a little bit light, so they start sweeping it right away, and then it starts to get that curl past center line, trying to bring it into the, nestle into the 2 blue stones that belong to Jones. She made a perfect shot.
Middaugh lies 2, trailing by 1. Jones faced with an interesting challenge. She's got to remove the shot stone from the 4-foot circle, roll over, try to be dead in front of the, or try to be shot rock at least, and then hope that things work out when Middaugh throws her last rock.
Roll it steep if we can.
Throwing that in-turn draw, or in-turn hit, similar to her last stone.
Jones, final stone of the game, potentially. In-turn hit. Makes the contact. Rolls away, leaving Middaugh with a draw duplicate shot of her previous shot for the win.
So Jennifer threw a little more weight on this takeout, and they jumped it a little bit too soon, and it just didn't hit enough of the Middaugh stone and rolled across the face out 12 foot.
This in-turn side of this home end has just been fooling both teams all day.
It has. It's been a difficult turn to try and get the rolls and the draws that they were trying to perform. So an opportunity for Middaugh to draw here, same shot she just threw.
And we can also play down to it, right?
Yeah.
But I am taking a bit more ice.
I like the exact same weight. You can manage it.
Okay. So a 90?
Yeah.
95?
I'll get you there.
Well, that's what a skipper likes to hear from the front end. Just throw the same weight, we'll manage it, we'll get it there for you, skipper.
Just don't think, just do as you did and we'll do the thinking.
I gave it. Line's good. Line's good.
Sherry Middaugh, out-turn draw for a win.
Just full 8.
Stop, full 8-foot circle.
Whoa. Coming into the yellow. We're good.
Very nice.
Great shooting, Sherry.
And as that rock comes to rest,
Good luck.
high fives and handshakes. Sherry Middaugh for first deuce of the day for a 5-4 victory over Jennifer Jones. Blair will have an interview with Sherry Middaugh, and we'll be right back with the post-game show from the 2017 Canad Inns Women's Classic on Shaw TV and Shaw Direct.
Tavern United, a new world sports pub. With a wide selection of sporting events televised at our 8 locations in Manitoba. Tavern United, your destination for great sports all the time.
Sherry Middaugh and her Ontario team score a pair, coming home for a 5-4 victory over Jennifer Jones and her Manitoba team. Maureen, an in-turn at the home end that was tricky for both teams all day, but it really was an out-turn shot by Sherry, the last rock of her last rock of the 7th, that was the key.
Oh, no doubt. That was basically the turning point. Her making that out-turn draw to the back 4 was phenomenal, and it put the pressure back on Jones to make a really good shot, and Jennifer had a chance to get a couple, and it amounted to only 1 point, and therefore Sherry had the hammer coming home and did the same thing. Perfect draw in this last end.
So Sherry Middaugh, full value for the victory today, 5-4 over Jennifer Jones, and Blair Malistravich is down at ice level with skip Sherry Middaugh.
Thanks, Resby. Sherry, that was an intense game. Let's talk about it. Very back and forth. Let's talk about it.
It was pretty much everything I expected. You know, rocks in play, some great shot making, and it was one of those that we got into a little bit of trouble in the 7th end, and you're like, oh my goodness, like we have to go all the way, like even if they get a deuce. But the way, you know, it looked like they were going to get 3, which would have been the ball game. So yeah, I'm sure the viewers enjoyed watching it. It was entertaining to play.
Awesome. Do you feel like you can relax a little bit now?
Yeah, I have to say that I think we're going to go upstairs and have a cold one to celebrate. But yeah, you know what? We qualified, which was the first step, and now we have the championship round tomorrow. So yeah, we play some great teams. We're playing well, but you can't let up. The field is so deep here.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Still more to come on the 2017 Canad Inns Women's Classic.